Welcome to another episode of the Protein Bros podcast. I am your host, Jeff Wasserman, and with me as always, my co-host, Kyle Combs.
What's going on, guys?
And today we have an awesome episode for you guys. It is the new year. It is 2022. We are pumped.
New year, new you.
That's right.
Right?
New year. Well, yeah, new year, new us. It's Protein Bros podcast, episode 1 of 2022. And we have a phenomenal guest with us today. It is Michelle Marshall. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
Michelle owns Marshall Fit. She trains out of 2 different gyms. Is that right?
Correct.
2 different gyms in the South Kansas City area, Overland Park, Olathe.
Correct.
And has been doing this a long time, and she is highly successful at what she does. She's one of my absolute favorite trainers, and we couldn't wait to have her on here. So before we get started, as always, we would ask if you could please share the podcast. If you have any value from listening to the podcast, I hope that you're at least putting a post of it, that you're listening to it on your Instagram or whatever social media that you like to use. Kyle, you got anything for them on that?
On social media?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay, cool. So moving forward.
Follow us on social media. That's what I got. That's, same thing as you.
And if you guys are first-time listeners, just understand we are a podcast for the local Kansas City community. We'd like to bring on our favorite trainers, gym owners, instructors, and have them tell their story, because it's actually very difficult to have a longevity type of career when it comes to fitness. There's a lot of flash in the pan people that try to get your money when it comes to fitness, and the only people that can stick around are the ones that have the client's best interest at heart, that are really trying to help people get results, and Michelle is a glowing example of that.
For sure. And, something, because it's the beginning of the year, that I wanted to get into on this podcast a little bit more than we have in previous podcasts is maybe, because obviously the majority of people who are listening to this are people in the fitness community or people who are trying to get in better shape, talking about, New Year's resolutions, your specific philosophy when it comes to diet and exercise, and basically what's made you successful and what kind of recommendations you have for people. So we'll get into all of that. But I guess first we should start off by how'd you even get into fitness? I know you played sports when you were younger. Were you a college athlete, correct?
Correct.
Where'd you go to school?
Yeah.
So I grew up in Iowa, a small town, about 10,000, 12,000 people. And honestly, I look back now, and most of the training, the competitive nature comes from being, back then you could play 4 sports, right? So realizing now that how much I am motivated by sports and how competitive I am, that kind of ultimately led to finding out what I was going to do later in life. But it wasn't until literally later in life.
I'm with you. But back then it was like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm laughing because it's like the 90s still feels like 10 years ago to me.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people talk about, the 90s are this far away, if and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's
So
crazy.
old.
Yeah.
So old.
Or our younger employees, they'll be like, Home Alone, I'm like, that came out in 91 and that's not an old movie at all. And they're like, that isn't, they just look at it differently than we do.
The fastest way for someone to feel old to me is always to go back 15 years, which would be 2007, right? 15 years now, and say, oh, someone was born in 2007 can actually legally drive this year.
That's so crazy.
Somebody born in 2007 is driving a car.
Yeah.
That is the craziest thing in the world to me.
Or you look at their year they're born and it was the year you graduated high school.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That hurts. That hurts.
I was 06, so I was right there. Just thinking about that. I'm already hitting that spot.
Yeah.
So small town in Iowa. What was the city?
Small town in Iowa, yep. So Storm Lake, Iowa, northwest corner. And I went to junior college first, and I played volleyball and basketball. And for me, going to that small school and experiencing that, being able to play 2 sports was key for me, because then I transferred to Iowa State.
The Cyclones.
Cyclones, yeah.
What JUCO did you play at?
Iowa Central.
Nice.
Yep.
Were you there when Seneca Wallace was there?
Yeah, what? I worked there actually when Seneca Wallace was there. I was working in the athletic department. Yeah, he's a stud.
Shout out Seneca Wallace. He was a badass rushing quarterback when they weren't very popular back in the day.
Yeah, he was a stud. He's so good.
Yeah, so going from junior college to a 4-year college is quite the transition. What was your experience like when you were at the 2-year college? Like for me, I played at a JUCO too. And when you see the money allocated towards sports programs at a 4-year college versus a JUCO college, it's night and day.
Night and day. Crazy.
I think that, so what, I guess to kind of back up, what sports were you playing at the time?
So I played volleyball and basketball in JUCO, and then I transferred to Iowa State, and I actually was just very heavily involved in intramurals, but I majored in sports management and exercise science at Iowa State. And so there I worked in the athletic department. So I've always been surrounded by athletes. Literally, I was never a student at an Iowa State football game. I was always working those games. So
Right. Down on the sideline with the polo on.
Yeah, so I was behind the scenes, and I loved it. You know, I was surrounded by everybody, all the athletes. And
did you end up getting a degree?
I did, yep.
Was it sports management?
Sports management, exercise science.
I was going to say, that's very cool.
Yep, so that's what I graduated Iowa State from. And then I worked for Iowa State Athletic Department. So I worked there. Then I went to 3 arena football teams. So I've just been in sports my whole life.
I love that. Give me some so this whole arena football thing. This is awesome.
I know. I was about to say, that's the first time I've heard of this
revelation in this podcast.
And we've known Michelle since 2016. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I worked there, it was when it was big time. You know, we were on NBC.
Bon Jovi owned a team.
Bon Jovi owned a team. Kurt Warner was literally.
I was going to ask.
He was 2 years removed from when I started there, but
use him on all the promos and everything. Obviously, since he was killing it.
Yeah, the players were making 6 figures for 4 months. We housed them. We did everything for them. So it was a good gig for the guys that couldn't make it in the league, but just still play football and get everything paid and make some money.
Is Arena League still going?
I don't know. It changed so much. The commissioner actually. Commissioner Baker, once he left there, he went to the NFL and works for the Hall of Fame. So once he left, that's kind of when it went downhill.
Yeah. Right. It seems like everybody comes out of Canadian League now. Is that right?
Well, it's up until now that the XFL is coming back next year with The Rock. And then there's also...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, The Rock and his wife, actually, his former wife, his ex-wife.
Oh.
Kind of a unique deal. You know, they don't really address the how or why behind that, but the two of them went on that together. I know like the St. Louis Battlehawks, that was a really good team whenever it was going for.
Man, Jeff was trying to get that going.
No, man.
Yes, you were.
It was just funny.
You wanted a jersey, you know.
No, but former Battlehawks quarterback has been on the Chiefs like a handful of times, Jordan Ta'amu. But bottom line is, what's the other one? The AFL? Was that the one that was finally like the big one in the 80s? It was the
AFL, and then they brought on like a feeder league, the AF2, and they were just trying to, it seemed like too much was going on. They should have just stuck with the AFL.
So this is what's happening. The AFL's coming back. They're coming back next spring, I believe.
Wow.
And so there's teams there's already guys that I know that are training, obviously, like with guys like Bryce that are going to try to do the AFL, and they're doing the AFL all in one city. They're doing it all in like one area. All the players are going to be in one area. They're going to house them, so on and so forth, to get it going. And then the next year, they're all going to have their own city that they're going to be representing, so to speak.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And so, one of those two, I'm sure, is going to make it, because I think people would love to have football year round.
Mm-hmm. And it's a different type of football. You know what I mean? It's the arena football. It's more, obviously, it's a 50-yard field, and it's faster. And
the full sprint as the down starts is crazy.
I know.
That's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. And it's fun. They do a lot of fun promos and music, and it's like an experience.
Yeah.
You know? It's cool.
They bring back like the WWF feel to it from the XFL, like 2000, where they were like encouraging the players to date the cheerleaders.
He hate me.
Yeah, that was Rod Smart, man.
Yeah,
he had like a 10-year career. That's awesome. So we're in the Arena League. Give us your best like Arena League story that you've like. This is an example of like what it was like back then.
Oh gosh, I would say working for the Iowa Barnstormers was probably that team was like, it's kind of like the Chiefs. Like there's nothing else in Des Moines, Iowa besides the Iowa Barnstormers.
And that's where Kurt was playing, right?
And that's where Kurt was. And they had cowbells, and they literally would bring those inside the arena. So you can imagine how loud it was. It was so loud.
Did you guys play at Northern Iowa's arena, or?
We played, no, it was downtown Des Moines is where we played at.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
You like Des Moines?
Des Moines, I do now. Des Moines grown a lot and changed. It's a lot better. It's like a mini Kansas City almost.
We like that city as well.
Yeah.
That's cool. I've only visited it once, but I thought it was actually pretty impressive. But that was just in the last year or so.
Yeah, it's changed a lot since I lived there.
So what was the transition like working in something like the Arena League football and getting into personal training, getting into group training like you do now? Or was that a direct transition? Or
so after the arena football, so I worked for the brigade. Then I ended up working for Ticketmaster. So I was a general manager in Kansas City, and so this is really going to age me. So we didn't even have the scanners to scan tickets when I started with Ticketmaster. We were still on hard tickets,
ripping tickets. Yeah,
literally when Sprint Center opened up, my IT guys are the ones that installed all the scanners, all the IT equipment.
Wow,
that's
we
cool.
sold out Miley Cyrus in 2 minutes. I had to go to court because they thought we were lying about the tickets. Garth Brooks came out of retirement. So the background aspect from the sports aspect was pretty cool that I got to experience. So then the market hit. This is kind of leading up to my story, I guess. The market hit the market went bad. And so then they...
2009?
Yes, 08, 09. Yes, yeah. So they combined my market with St. Louis, actually. And so I lost my job. And I found out I was expecting baby number 3. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was crying. What am I going to do? And so that's when I decided to get actually my real estate license and my personal training license.
At the same time. Awesome.
Yeah.
What was Carl doing at the time?
Carl was working medical device.
Very cool. But also one of those times where it's like whenever it's, whenever times are tough, it makes everything tough.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you got?
Everybody's budgets are tight.
Scary.
What kind of advice you got for me getting through baby number 3? Because I just had my wife just had baby number 3, and it is tough.
So what are the ages of your babies?
So I have a 3.5-year-old, I have a 1.5-year-old, and then I have a newborn.
Oh boy. Yeah, those are
too close.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You know
Don't
what?
do them so close.
No, the third child is so easy. Like,
Yeah.
Something falls on the floor, they can eat it. It's fine. They potty their pants. It's fine. You just let it go. Like you're just not all stressed out. It's great. The
I
third
will
child
say
is the
this.
best.
Can you guys all tell I was a third child?
Totally.
Yeah.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was the youngest. Yeah.
Aw.
Dude, but it is true though. By the time you get to your third, you're kind of just exhausted.
You're just
and you're just like,
exhausted.
they're gonna live.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
They'll be fine.
I didn't even
Yeah.
have a curfew growing up. They didn't give a what. You
Yeah.
know? I just did whatever I wanted back then.
See,
Yeah.
the babies get away with everything.
Yeah.
But my advice is just not to get all strung up on a strict bedtime and worry about,
Yeah.
they should be off the bottle by now. Like just go with it.
Just go with the flow.
We'll all survive. They'll be
Honestly, the bedtime thing it took some adjusting because it's like with little kids, it's like an hour to get them to bed,
a
to get
lot of
them to
work.
calm down
Yeah.
and like read a book and
Brush their
my
teeth and-
girls want songs sung to them every night. And I'm like, geez, this is an hour of my day every single day.
If you
It's
just wait them out, don't they just fall asleep? Why you
and
gotta
also,
throw 'em the song and dance?
that's not even talking about getting them in the bath, which is like,
Nother
getting
thing.
them out of that. Sorry. Anyways.
Spoken from a person who doesn't have kids over here. I'm like, why don't you just, let them
Jeff's
wait
like,
it
they're
out?
fine.
Just
They're fine.
what do you mean?
If you sang to me, I'd be staying awake because I'm like, this is hilarious, and I would like want to keep it.
Are you
going.
kidding me? You know my voice.
Yeah, I know. That's why I think it'd be
Mixture between
hilarious.
Fergie and Jesus.
You know what?
And-
Cherish it because when they turn teenagers, you're not going to see them unless they come to the kitchen to eat.
Oh, I'm
That's it.
sure.
They're just.
You're like, come sit on the couch with me. They're like, no,
I'm like, I
I'd
didn't
rather
even
not.
know you were home.
Yeah.
Come to the kitchen. I'm hungry. What's for dinner? We just ate dinner. Oh yeah, I forgot. That's what
Actually,
happens in my house.
the food bill thing, I can wait on that because
goodness.
right now my kids eat like, they hardly eat at all,
Mm-hmm.
but like they turn to teenagers and they're just going to destroy everything in my kitchen.
For sure.
Well, speaking of kids, though, this is important. So, you guys have 3 kids, right? And they're just all stud athletes to this point amongst their peers. Is this correct?
Yeah, they're. You know what? They're good athletes. Mine are.
So Jalen is just signed on with Mizzou. He's going to be there,
Which
in the
is
fall.
awesome. Congrats.
Yeah,
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Huge congrats.
Thank you. We're very excited.
What was his? So what was his? I know you don't want to speak for him, but what was his like? Was he always thinking Mizzou, or was there a couple other schools that were kind of, he was on the fence?
Mizzou came in at the last minute. So he was looking at Nebraska and Oklahoma State, and then he went to work out at Mizzou, and they wanted him right then and there. And so then we went up for an official visit, and he fell in love with it. He fell in love with the coaching staff, and obviously everything there is, the facilities, everything's top notch.
Unbelievable.
Are they just as nice? I mean, I feel like Oklahoma State's got the nicest in the country, right? They got T. Boone Pickens.
I mean, honestly, that oil money's no joke. But honestly, all the facilities are amazing. In Nebraska, they're building a brand new facility. I think that these schools have so much money, they don't know what to do with it. But you really, anywhere you go, they're going to have top notch stuff. So,
Yeah.
Right. Even Missouri State football has like really beautiful stuff now.
Seriously.
And you're
They
like,
just
how?
amazing.
redid. Hey, dude, are you kidding me? They were good last year.
They were.
They were
That
really
was-
good.
They were.
That was the only year they've ever been good. But
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
We'll see if Bobby Petrino stays, but yeah.
So what's your? This is kind of off topic from where we were at, but what's your advice to maybe any parents out there who have kids that are athletes? What kind of diet advice or training advice did you give Jalen when he was younger that you think helped him out long term?
It's funny because Jalen he's a big kid, and all the moms still to this day, I will get texts and phone calls and asking me,
What'd you feed him?
what are you feeding Jalen? What do I need to feed Bobby to gain weight? I'm like, you need to go to S2. I
I love the plug. It's
I
great.
send them, I'm like, they will help you out. They'll tell you exactly what you need.
Yeah.
But I think
Just for a disclaimer, guys, S2 can't make you grow taller. So
How tall is Jalen?
He's 6'5".
Dear God, he is.
We can't help you there.
He's a massive human being.
Yeah.
He's 290, 300 pounds. He's a big boy.
How tall is Carl?
Carl is barely 6 foot.
And you're 6 foot, right? Or like 5'11"?
I'm 5'9", Jeff.
5'9"?
Wow. Where did
Taller
this?
than you, Michelle.
Actually,
So-
I'm 5'8" and 3/4.
So whose parents are the tall ones then?
Yeah.
So my mom is 5'8". My dad used to be 6'1". My brother's 6'2", and Carl's dad is actually 6'2". I mean, they're all shrinking now, but so there's height on both sides.
Yeah.
But Carl takes after his mom's side, and they're tiny people. Like his mom is 5'1", maybe.
Right.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But awesome for Jalen. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that 6'5" is just something you can't teach or diet, but he's clearly taking his vitamins.
That is true.
Can't teach big, that's for sure. But, I think him just seeing, me, and especially during my competitions, watching how your body can transform and when you eat right and correct what you can do. I think just being a good role model, and not deprive them at the same time. I think some parents get so caught up in they can't have candy, they can't have McDonald's, but I think you have to find that balance and teach your kids like, it is okay to have McDonald's once in a while.
Yeah.
Just not every stinking day.
I love that.
If you demonize food, you're setting your kid up for failure long term. You don't want them to feel emotional towards food or like they can't have something, because then people go the opposite direction.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up with a household that was like very much like a good or bad, right? Like, oh, that's good, that's bad. Versus like, hey, like you're allowed to have that in moderation, just like have a couple and we'll put them away, But I mean, it's just one of those things where my relationship with food's evolved over the years and gotten great, gotten terrible.
Absolutely.
But I would say that like, yeah, it would have been nice to know as a kid, like, hey, this is actually how this affects your body.
Yeah.
All the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think obviously the education is way different too. There's so many resources these kids have.
Can you even believe how much it's changed in 20 years? I grew up eating for breakfast. It would be Pop-Tarts, Eggos, donuts, and I didn't think anything of it.
Didn't know
it
any
was just like,
That's what you eat.
this is
That's
breakfast food.
Yeah. And we still have my youngest here. He has some friends who they're literally their pantry is like, Mom, all they have is like Doritos and Cheetos and Pop-Tarts, and he's so amazed.
Yeah.
Because they still have 6-pack abs, and I'm like, well, that's just genetics right now.
Yeah, that'll come to an end.
But it's making them understand that it's also about more than just looking good. It's about the nutrients you're putting in your body to help prevent cancer and all the other good stuff.
When you're a kid, I feel like this is the biggest thing as far as our education system goes, is they don't speak in any way, form as far as like aesthetics go or how things help with your performance. Everything is based on, this is what cholesterol is and this is what blood pressure is. I'm not going to need to learn any of this for 30 years.
Yeah, you're a little kid.
I'm not going to be concerned about any of it. How do I get abs? That's all that's every, young boy's like thought process. I'm like 14 to 18 years old and I'd like women to find me attractive. How do I look in good shape, please?
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's all they ever were trying to figure out. No one's really understanding what blood pressure even is in that moment.
Yeah, it's so true.
I can't believe, with how much there's problems with ADD and kids having troubles with focusing. It's like the first thing that they should be doing if a kid says they have a problem with focusing is saying, what are you eating for breakfast? Because for me, I had a big problem with focusing, and now understanding the way that I do now about diet, I look back at my diet and I said, well, no wonder I couldn't focus, and no wonder I wanted to fall asleep midday because I was crashing. I was in an insulin crash. And then like in the morning, I was all jacked up and I couldn't focus on anything because I just ate 150 grams of sugar. It's crazy how much the diet can affect that and how much, we've came a long ways as far as, your kids know far more about diet than you did when you were a child.
Absolutely.
Or, we did as a child. And so it's cool to see that evolve, but I still think there's a lot of room to grow in that department as well.
Regarding, with the people that just your membership base at Marshall Fit, are you responsible for their nutrition typically, or do you do that with only certain clients?
I do that with them as well. It's a separate, price. So if they're just coming to work out, they have their unlimited memberships, but I also do offer nutrition help as well.
When you do your nutrition help, are you someone who does more calorie counting? Do you do more macro based? Do you give them a specific meal plan? What's your theory on that?
I'm more of a macro counting type of trainer. I think when you give them a specific meal plan, it's great, but it doesn't really teach them how to live that balanced lifestyle. Like you can get so caught up on meal 1, I have to eat this, meal 2, I have to eat that. And then when they fall off that meal plan, it's just a vicious cycle. So
we haven't taught them anything besides how to follow a plan.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that it's better to, you can give them the generic meal plan. Like this is a suggestion, but I think they need to figure it out for themselves because ultimately that's what you want them to make their own smart decisions. But I'm definitely a fan of the macros.
Sure.
What, so, he just named off a couple different dieting styles and, things in the fitness industry like macros, keto, intermittent fasting. What trends are you seeing from your client? Because how many clients do you have?
I have about 25 members.
So you
huge.
have, but you guys have an awesome, your culture that you guys have is very tight.
Yes.
And I'm sure that they come to you and they say, hey, have you heard about this? Have you seen this? What are the dieting trends that you're seeing now? And what do you think about them as far as if they're beneficial or not?
I still think that keto is definitely a big one that's out there. I think that people just assume that carbs are the devil and they're bad for you. So I, for instance, may have a client who's doing keto, but yet drinks wine on the weekend. So for them to understand, like, that's not how it works. Again, like, you want the balanced lifestyle. I think keto can be great for someone who initially needs to lose a lot of weight. But I think overall, from maintaining a lifestyle, is not the route to go.
That's
hard. My personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think that carb cycling helps a lot because it kind of gives them, all right, so today I'm going to do a little more less carbs, and then I'm going to refuel my body in 2 days with more carbs.
For sure.
I think that that's probably the most sustainable with my clients that I found.
As long as they actually understand how it's affecting the body, that's always the biggest thing, right? So it's just unfortunate. Like, someone reads, one article on keto or has a friend lose the weight on keto, and then they decide, I'm just going to do keto, and we hear out what their version of that is. And we're like, well, that's not really.
Exactly.
Keto, when you lose
hardcore.
the first intermuscular water in the first week or so of doing keto, that right there, I think, is responsible for why keto is as popular as it is because people will start it, they'll lose 10 pounds of intermuscular water, and they'll be like, this is awesome. This is obviously working. And we all know that, that's not actually, you're not losing 10 pounds of fat. That's impossible in a week.
Impossible.
I mean, personally speaking, I lost 60 pounds 3 different times doing keto, which just shows you how sustainable it is, because I had to lose 60 pounds 3 different times.
3 different times, Jeff?
For real, and I'm about to do it again, but not doing, not doing keto, but I did keto it was in 2013. This is before it was ever a fad. It was definitely like only in like the bodybuilding community thing. And so I did it, and it was so great for me, honestly, because it was like I could eat the foods I like, right? So I was having like chicken wings every night, you know what I mean? Just buffalo chicken wings. And it made it so easy, right?
But honestly, I think that's a key point, is if you've done something that's worked for you before and you can follow it, right. I think that's key. So being consistent, whatever it is, whether it's paleo or you think you need to go gluten-free even though you don't have any allergies, then by all means, just go for it. If it works for you, then and you can follow it to a T or be consistent, then.
But I want to give this, and that's honestly my genuine thoughts on it too. And me and Kyle have been in a position when we were working the counter of our stores for so many years. We were giving out, diet advice every day, and you have to live, these different fads just so you can absolutely, relate personally with every customer that you talk to.
Yes.
And for you, same difference. And so when it came to keto, I mean, my word of caution to anybody listening is, if you've done it for a long time, which I have, I combined intermittent fasting with keto. Right. And if you ever want to look up the reasons why people get gallstones,
that would be why.
And it happened to Jeff.
It happened to me. And it was probably the most scary day of my life when I first got it. I knew what was going on. I thought I was having a heart attack or something, but it was actually pain on the other side of my chest. And then all of a sudden the pain came in my back. And there was nothing I could do about it. And I was just like screaming, like, imagine just like laying on the floor writhing in pain for like 8 hours.
That's so scary.
And it was all purely based on the fact that I was eating obnoxiously high amounts of fat, and I was having probably not drinking enough water, which is my own fault there. But it was also combined with fasting. And so when you look up, reasons why people get gallstones, it says like, going a long time without eating and eating a really high amount of fat. And so I was just like, point blank, the perfect candidate for someone who would get a gallstone. And so just exercise caution. If it's something that you're trying to do for life, you got to really know the ins and outs of it.
What you said, in starting this, where you were like, I have clients that drink wine on the weekends. When we were assessing diets a lot, I would always ask somebody, hey, let's actually talk, when's the last time you drank? How often are you drinking? Keto's not going to work for you. I promise you that. And I was like, let's design something around your actual lifestyle, because, more often than not, when people get to a certain age, their habits are kind of their habits. And so what you're trying to do is just formulate what's the best way that I can design this diet that fits within their current lifestyle that they can stick to. And I think what you said when you were talking about just moderation is like the key thing, and breaking people's preconceived notions of this food's bad, this food's good. It's all just food. It's all just energy that you're, energy and nutrition that you're taking in. And, some of it's just more calorie dense than others.
That's
Probably
right.
have less of that.
That is exactly right.
So anything else new? I feel kind of aloof to what's trending outside of keto right now. Or is anybody coming up to you asking you about let's just go for some fun. Like we're South Beach diet, Atkins diet, Mediterranean diet, pescatarian diet.
I haven't heard of any of that. I mean, I have a lot of people that talk about intermittent fasting too. And I explain to them that it's not a tool to make you lose fat. It's literally, there's some health benefits to it. Don't get me wrong, but it's literally a window of time that you're allowed to eat. Yeah. So it's not going to magically, like if you fast and you're eating crap, you're still not going to lose weight.
It's all calories in versus calories out. Yeah. And it's like, you're not going to eat as many calories now that you're eating in a smaller window.
Yeah. But I don't have any new, no one's really came up to me and asked me, a Hollywood diet or anything.
I would just love to hear a phrase I haven't heard yet that I can research, because it's fun to listen to. How can you manipulate people's minds into thinking that they should eat calories less, but not call it that?
Yeah.
Here's carb backloading was a fun one. Oh yeah. That I've tried before. That was fun. That I was like, I just ate pizza before bed and I woke up, skinnier somehow.
Crazy.
It's all of those. I did carb night for a long time too, which was basically just a keto diet with a big cheat meal that was a high carb cheat meal one time a week, and all of that. Like you were saying, am I still doing it? No. And so if you can't see yourself doing a diet, 6 months from now, you probably shouldn't be doing it in the near term either. Yeah. Unless you're doing like you've done in the past, competed in bodybuilding shows.
That was a good great transition. Great segue.
Yeah.
I was about to ask her just purely because you said the magic word cheat meal. Michelle has competed at a high level in some natural bodybuilding shows. At NBF, IPE, what's going on right now? What was the last show?
Gosh, I think it's going to be 4 years ago was my last show.
What? Mm-hmm. Really? Yeah. Already?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
I think
wild. Time flies.
This spring, yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah. Any thoughts of doing another?
No. I think I did 7 total, and my goal, I did one just to try it, and then of course I got third, and I was like, oh my, I got to do this again.
I'm pretty good at it. Yeah,
you turned pro, didn't you?
I did. I got my pro card, and I think if I would have started it when I was a little younger, I probably would have kept going with the pro card thing, but I think what would happen is I would get up there and I got third place. I got to do just one more until I got first because I'm so competitive. So my goal initially was just to place my first one. I did. And then after that, it was just to win everything, just to sweep it.
Right.
And I did that. So I beat all the young girls and all the old ladies, and I got my pro card.
I remember.
Mission accomplished. And it was literally one of the best days of my life. And I'm so glad I went through it because you learn so much about your body and yourself.
Yeah.
So,
is it the most disciplined you've ever been?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's fun, but, it takes away from your family a little bit. You're eating separate meals, and I can't be social, and you're no fun, Michelle, because you're competing type of deal. So
yeah,
it does take a commitment from it takes a commitment from your family, from the people that are around you. They have to understand that as you get closer to the show, you're going to be probably a little bit less fun to be around.
Yeah, they say bodybuilding is a super selfish sport, and I'm like, no, man. If anybody's ever done bodybuilding longer than one show, it's a team sport. Totally. Because everybody else in your family has to be okay with it. Otherwise, you're not going to want to do it.
Right. And just because you're looking at yourself in the mirror doesn't mean you're high on yourself. You're literally just seeing what's popping and things. You know?
You're trying to figure out,
there's another adults. Okay. So,
and it is, when you get that lean, it is really cool because you're just like, man, I can't believe this is my body. I have no fat on me.
It's crazy.
Kyle's trying to get back to that right now. We went to breakfast yesterday and he said, new year, new me, 7 egg whites, whole wheat toast, no butter.
Hold on. But
that's exactly what he said.
To be fair, what do I always get at our meeting?
4 whole eggs, whole wheat toast.
That's all I changed. I just was like, hey, I want to save my fat for later in the day. That's it.
He's like higher fat today versus lower fat today. Yeah.
I was just trying to save some calories.
I was like, I'll take the exact same thing. Actually, I was plus breakfast potatoes instead of toast.
Yeah, Kyle. I mean, it's just amazing what your mind, when you have your mind set on something and how disciplined you have to be. It's pretty cool.
What advice do you have for somebody who might be maybe not wanting to compete, but might struggle with falling on and off diets? What motivation have you found that works for you in the past?
I think finding people who have the same goals as you is helpful. So maybe it's just something you guys are keeping each other accountable, and that can go with your workouts too. But If you're hanging out with people who are always eating like crap and drinking, then obviously you're going to follow suit. So if you're with people who kind of have the same goals, I think that's huge, and just being held accountable.
Yeah.
I was going to say this is a great transition because she runs challenges.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, so challenges, I feel like is something that we could call maybe trendy in the last few years or so. And we've partnered with you on some challenges in the past. We have one coming up soon, right? When's that start?
It's Monday. They're coming in to get their body fat done, but it starts Monday.
It starts next Monday, right?
Next Monday, yep.
Nice plug there. If you guys want to sign up, go ahead. But bottom line, challenges, do you feel like that's something that's just a trend? And on top of that, is that where do you feel like the pros and cons are there? Is that something that you feel like is an easier way for people to get into fitness? Or is it more, do you feel like it's still better to do one-on-one training?
I think the challenges are fun. I think that people can get competitive. I think the downfall is that sometimes people will just do it for the 6 weeks or 8 weeks and then they just stop. But I think that the positives are they learn a lot simply by obviously going into Supplement Superstore A, but B, they're sending their body fat to me. They're sending pictures to me. So just knowing that you're going to be sending a picture to me with your shirt off is kind of scary, right? Like people hate that. And literally knowing that I'm going to be looking at those, I think that keeps them so accountable. I do think that they can be trendy, but I think that if you're keeping it where it's teaching them, this is what we're doing. It's not just for literally 6 weeks. The goal is to have you continue on with this. And it's not a 6 week, it's not a 30-day detox. It's not a 20-way detox.
Yeah, 21-day fix.
Remember
that one?
Don't you recommend or require that somebody sign up with you for 6 months though when you do it?
Yeah. So if they're not a member with me, yes.
Yeah,
so
I love that. Yeah. Because that basically is stopping that dead in its tracks. Like Absolutely. You can't just do this,
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I absolutely love that because that makes obviously, now Marshall Fit stands for results only. Yeah. And you're not letting anybody who's fly by night, say that they did one of your challenges and didn't get results or something.
Unfortunately, all that's, you have to be so patient, right? So you have to be patient, consistent to take off weight, and just it's hard, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah, we roll. With S2 challenges we try and do them relatively back to back, and it's all in a attempt to continue to grab those same people, remotivate them, get them back on track, and make sure that they stick to the plan long term. Readjust their diet if they're because everyone will fall into habits, and maybe they've done something with their diet. If somebody falls off a diet, basically the only reason for that is they've done something that's unsustainable. So we just need to find that thing. Okay. You have to drop your kids off in the morning. So you were skipping breakfast, and by the time you got to lunch, you were so hungry that you wanted to go out to eat or something like that.
Easy fix,
mm-hmm. But it's just getting back in front of those people and trying to actually, uncover what was going on with their diet that they weren't able to do, be sustainable with it. So,
I think now is I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
I think now is the perfect time. Everyone obviously during the holidays indulges. And I think, you should enjoy yourself, but not so much that you're putting on 20 pounds, but you should enjoy yourselves. I mean, I have a confession actually. I drank more this month than I did the whole year. So things like that happen,
Yeah.
just to keep it real.
What was your drink of choice?
A lot of wine.
And, what's your go-to wine?
I like Malbecs and Pinots. I like
classy lady.
And I like, I can make a killer skinny cranberry Moscow Mule.
Yeah.
How does
Kim does that too.
We'll leave the recipe in your post that we make from the Protein Bros. Because we need to know the skinny girl. What's it called? A Moscow Mule? Mm-hmm. How do you make a skinny? Was it a skinny cran Moscow Mule?
It's like diet cranberry and a little bit of Sprite Zero and Titos.
No diet ginger beer involved?
Oh yeah, diet ginger beer. Yeah, that's the key.
I was just saying, man.
Yeah.
That sounds phenomenal.
It is pretty good.
Okay.
It's the ginger beer kind of gives it like takes the edge off the sweetness a little bit.
Yeah, it's not too sweet. I don't like the sweetness. It's perfect.
It's good.
I think that's got to be. I think honestly, the Moscow Mule mug is like the best.
It is.
Official glass or cup of any drink there ever
Totally.
was.
Yeah.
The copper mug is just the coolest.
It is.
Drink beverage,
and it keeps
cup
it cool.
there ever was.
Yeah.
It's legit.
They just stopped giving those out because people were stealing them because they're so nice. You know? People were like stealing them at that restaurants and stuff.
That's funny.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Fancy.
I was going to ask, so with that, obviously most people kind of can overindulge during Christmas and during the holidays, but also in the fitness industry, there's a weird thing to kind of make people feel bad about resolutions. Have you noticed that recently where it's like, you shouldn't have to have a resolution. You should do this. And I'm of the thought where it's like, man, anytime that is a good point for somebody to feel like they should make a change. We should be encouraging them as a fitness industry.
Agreed.
And so, with that, are you seeing an influx of people? Is this a time of year that you always see an influx of people when it comes to training?
Yeah, and I will say the same thing. I have seen that people are kind of getting shamed for setting resolutions, and I agree. Like if you have a goal to set, and set it and make it happen. But obviously, you see it's more common where people set a resolution, they may not follow through with it. But
oh yeah, that's a big problem.
It's just in our faces more often now. Because
right.
people are so on their high horse, letting us know their resolutions, that I feel like we can spot people's failures, relatively quick.
That's so true.
Which is, for here, we all have them. We all have things we're trying to. If we're not focusing on betting ourselves, you're not getting any better.
We all have them. Yep.
So I think it's just more in people's faces now. But I just feel like I wish that we could be okay with that. Like, hey man, most people are obviously going to have you got to give everybody some grace.
Right.
So is your resolution to compete one more time and to just kick everybody's butt?
No, but I it's funny because you talk about not eating enough, and I'm totally guilty of that right now. So I'm back on my, I want to lose some body fat, but no, I'm not competing. I'm retired.
Okay.
She's going to be competing with other football moms, the Mizzou football games this fall.
That's
Definitely
right.
be the most jacked football mom.
That's right.
That's right.
So how's that experience been? I mean, having a son go to a D1 school, that just seems like a really cool experience.
Does he start in the fall or does he start now?
Super cool. His high school, they do not allow you to graduate early. A lot of the kids these days, they graduate a semester and they
go play spring ball.
Did Mackay not do that?
Mackay did, yeah. So his school let him. So he's probably there now. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing's been amazing. Like that's been his dream since day one. So it's been so cool to see him. And
are his younger brothers kind of aspiring to that as well?
I was asking the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Dylan, he's a sophomore, and
what position does Dylan play?
So he plays safety right now. So
cool.
He looked at Jalen's butt all game. So Big J's on the D line, and Dylan's way in the backfield. So it was like that's probably the most amazing thing I've experienced as a mom is having them both out there.
So much fun.
That is cool.
It was pretty cool. Like because I'll never get that again, and they won't. They may not appreciate it so much right now, but later in life they'll be like, wow, we played football together.
Yeah.
So, but I think Dylan wants to play. I don't know what level. He's only a sophomore, so. If he said if he doesn't get the dream scholarship, he would go walk on wherever Jay's at. So
that's
we'll
cool.
see. We'll see what happens.
I have no doubt he'd be just fine. What about little Baron?
Little Baron. So our baby's only in 6th grade, so he's got a ways to go. He's mad at us that he's so much younger than them, but he's my basketball guy.
When I was what's funny is if he ever wants to have somebody talk to him. I was a 6th grader when my brother graduated high school.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And
I'll
so
tell him.
he was I was going into 6th grade and he was going into freshman year of college.
Isn't that crazy?
At Mizzou.
Yeah.
So
he graduated college before you graduated high school, right? Almost or close.
by a long shot.
Yeah.
I was literally going into 6th grade. So it was one of those things where I was going into freshman year and he was graduating college.
Wow. I'll let
Same
him know.
time.
He'll appreciate that.
Yeah. And
you understand the pain.
No doubt.
Big bros.
on the note though of you being a mom but also being a trainer, also having a ton of people look up to you as far as everybody knows that you're a trainer as well, but you're still also doing real estate at the same time. So when you go to these games, how much does people bring up your fitness level to you and ask you about stuff? Because I feel like it's one of those things where people that are in exceptional shape, no one else understands this besides them. But it's okay. It's never okay to talk about somebody being in not good shape. But when you're in great shape, everybody's allowed to talk about it. And it's totally okay for everybody. You know what I mean?
He's asking if there's any moms that talk shit.
No. They're all going to
get to the point, right?
Yeah. They're all going, no. What I'm asking is how many insecure moms are talking about their own bodies to you because they feel insecure about themselves?
It's funny you say that because I have this thing that I tell people. So you could go out to a restaurant and eat with your friends, right? And so I'm going to order, let's say, a salad or some grilled chicken and vegetable, and they're going to order a hamburger, French fries, and get dessert. And they're going to food shame me for ordering my salad or my chicken, and then you're going to eat that hamburger. It's kind of the same thing. So no one says anything to you about the hamburger, but the moment you want to eat something healthy, they're like, oh my gosh, why are you eating that? Are you seriously getting a salad?
Crabs in a bucket.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I think people will come up to me and they'll say, "Oh, we couldn't work out with you, Michelle. Your workouts are too hard, or you're in too good of a shape." I'm like, no, we all start at the exact same place. I remember the first time I did a burpee, it was horrible, and now I love burpees. So we all start
No
as
one
beginners.
loves burpees. No one loves
I
burpees.
love burpees. I really do.
I like burpees.
Aren't they great?
Yeah.
They're so good.
All right. Well, never mind.
wanna do
One of my
something?
favorite things that I ever made Jeff do was it 50
100 burpees for
Or it was
time.
100 burpees for time.
I videoed myself doing
I want
it.
to say it took you like 15 minutes.
It took me 7.5 minutes. Still have the video. He said I couldn't do
It's
it in
not
under.
7.5 minutes.
He said I couldn't do it under 10 minutes.
Luke,
Every
we're gonna
sing-
have to post this and check it.
Every single time that Kyle's ever put like a fitness challenge on me because he just gives me zero respect, I always like laugh in his face and do it and then show it to him. But he's just like, gotcha, like I made you do it, you know. So
That's all I'm trying to do is make him do it.
It's
Right?
it's a win-win. But
a
yeah,
win-win.
I did 100 burpees in my apartment living room once for him on video and I did it in 7.5 minutes and I died.
You know that second half, the second 50 gets real.
Brutal.
Yeah.
That's when it gets
I
real.
was just doing it like little, 10 at a time rounds, and my God, I was
But-
like death.
You know, your workouts, getting back to specifically what you do, everything that you guys do, every circuit that you hit, you can scale. You can scale
Absolutely.
to whatever fitness level there is.
Yes.
So I'm sure that you have that conversation with them a lot.
Absolutely. I literally have 18-year-olds to 63-year-olds in my classes, both men and women, all shapes, all sizes, all fitness abilities. I mean, I have one lady who, could barely jump rope to someone who can, probably go double dutch off an ice storm right now. Or, You know what I mean? Like, I literally have every fitness level. I have people who I don't even let touch the barbell to people who can back squat like champs. So that's what I love is like, it's a real life situation. Like, I don't want people to come into my classes and feel like they have to wear something certain to fit in, or they have to be able to back squat this, or, no one's trying to max out in my classes. That's not our goal. Our goal is to stay strong and have longevity and not get hurt.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
We have
You guys focus a lot on strength training too, which a lot of circuit type of classes are more focused on cardio. What's your thought process behind that?
I think, it's interesting. I always call it the new sexy place. Like, oh, this gym's opening up. It's the new sexy, which is great. And I have respect for all the fun stuff out there. But ultimately, it's still going to go back to the basic strength training exercises that everybody should be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't invent certain things. Just, you know what I mean? Like, strength is where it's at. I mean,
And also you were talking about like having, clients who are 65 years old. It's like helping with bone density.
Yes.
One of the main things that kills people in America, it sounds crazy, but it's people falling, so having the strength to walk downstairs,
Yes.
having the bone strength to, if you do fall downstairs, to not break your hip or have some kind of issue
and I think the older you get and you appreciate that and you understand like, hey, as a female, I don't want to be 80 and fall down and break my leg or my hip and not be able to walk again. I want to, even 70, but I think the older you get, you appreciate that stuff and you realize that, okay, maybe I don't need to just do sprints every day and burpees every day.
Well, you start thinking about, overall wellness, differently, and health differently, or at least, I have in the, recent years have started thinking about it differently. I'm like, I don't want my knees and back to hurt 24/7,
Seriously,
so it's like I don't need to be maxing out on my squats and deadlifts every single week.
And my 62-year-old lady, she's still, she's stronger than half the ladies and she's doing burpees and she's killing it. So, she's been working out her whole life too, though. That's the difference.
Yeah,
like if you're
she's got
60,
a
you're not going to start
base.
working out. Like she's got a good solid base. You know? I always joke that we're all going to be at Planet Fitness walking around with our fanny packs when we're 80. I'm like, we're not going to stop working out when we're 80, people. We got to keep going.
We got to keep going.
Got to keep going.
Going back to, people who want to push it too hard, too fast, how have you tamed your sons probably over eagerness, or do they have good coaches that have tamed that down? But when I was, 18 years old, I was literally like, I was sacrificing form for weight every single day and not caring. And so I'm sure their coaches are better now than, in 2000 when I was, an eighth grader. But, have you had to calm them down on that since you have the background in it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yes, they, well, first of all, their mom doesn't know anything. Let's be real. Like they would rather hear it. They could hear it from you guys and be like, oh yeah, I totally should do that. And I could say, you guys, I told you that like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But mom doesn't know anything. But with that said, yes, I think that the trend you're going to see is at high schools in Texas, they probably have it already, but strength and conditioning coaches are going to become a must.
Oh yeah.
I think you're going to start seeing that more, but I do think that at the high school level, they're getting better. My boys have a problem with taking recovery days or yoga.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to understand. Like you guys need to not work out twice a day and doing back squats and then go do cleans. Like there's no reason to work out twice a day like that. So they're learning.
Yeah, when you're that age, you're almost at a scarcity mindset with fitness. You're worried that somebody else is doing something, that they're going to have an edge on you, on Saturday because they're doing cleans 3 times a week and you're doing them, 2 times a week. And it's just not the way that works. I think that, it seems like the information about sleep, recovery, nutrition is getting better it's getting passed down. When we go talk to, high school athletes, they have a better knowledge base of that now and they understand that recovery is important, but kids are kids. They also come into our store and they're like, dude, what's the most highly caffeinated pre-workout? What's going to light my world on fire? So you always have to tame that down. So I'm sure that's been an interesting deal to have to, deal with your son, considering he's a high level athlete.
It has been. That's one of the things he's most excited for, honestly, is to get there and have the nutrition provided for him, to have, they have a nutritionist on staff. That's and their strength and conditioning coach. So that to get in the program is what he's so excited about.
Right. Just to have all of his support.
Yeah, it's all right there. Everything is for, your vitamins. They go through and give you an individual vitamin plan. So everything is just provided for you to become your best. They want that. They don't want you to, on the recovery things that they have. It's unbelievable.
That is incredible. Mm-hmm. I want to switch gears a little bit back to what we were getting into just a tad when it came to the people that are coming to you now that it's New Year's, and people that are trying to make a change, because that's a lot of our customer base that are going to be listening in on this. And that is if you could give one piece, I know this is a tough one, but just one piece of advice for, let's say, a middle-aged woman who's getting started and she doesn't really consider herself, in quotes, a workout person, but we want to get them into that lifestyle and make them start believing themselves more. When they're getting started, what's the thing that you want to let them know?
I think that they have to understand that you have to ease into it. So if you're just getting started, being smart about what you're doing, especially with weights. So it's worth the investment to honestly probably do a personal training, even if just 10 sessions first, so you can learn exactly what I'm capable of doing and what I'm not. Now, if you've been working out, that's probably a little different, but just understanding and easing into it and just being consistent. I preach that all the time.
Yeah. Don't quit.
Don't quit. You're going to have bad days. We've all sat in the parking lot at a gym and said, I'm not going to go in there and work out today. Mm-hmm. And you go in and I say, you know what, if you get in there in 15 minutes, you're still not in the mood to work out, then leave. But I guarantee your endorphins are going to kick in and you're going to be ready to work out.
No one leaves.
Right?
Those are some of the best days.
You just have to get in the door.
I don't feel like working out today. And then you go work out and you're like, I actually needed that today.
I'm so glad I did that, right? Half the time, the hardest part is just getting started. Just getting started and not feeling intimidated, especially as a middle-aged woman, or even the young girls. I have college girls that come in and just getting the proper guidance and knowing, you don't have to go all in, and maybe you saw something on social media. You don't have to do what you see. I
was just about to bring that up. I feel like social media can make people feel more scared of the gym because they see people that you're not going to see in your local gym doing things in the gym. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's the type of people that are in the gym.
And everybody's a trainer on social media. Literally everybody. Yeah. So it's hard. Social media makes it tough for sure.
Yeah.
I got some rapid fire questions for you now, Michelle. These are new.
Let's go.
Ooh. Rapid fire. Here we go.
Go.
What's your favorite fast food?
Hang on. Over by us too. Oh, Chick-fil-A.
I was just about to say,
number one.
Chick-fil-A.
All right,
it's like everybody's.
It's the bomb.
Yep. Now, whether you like it to call it this or not, some people call it a cheat meal. Some people call it a treat meal because we don't want to demonize food. But what's your favorite treat meal? If you had to say you've been doing it, you've been on your game, awesome for so long, you finally get that one meal, let's say after your show, what was the biggest craving you ever had?
Chips and queso.
Damn, what kind of queso? From where? This is important.
Well, you can mess up queso, but honestly, it's a margarita.
Remember the first
and
Chipotle
chips and queso? You know what I mean? That's where it's at.
Margarita.
That's a good combo.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sweet and salty and just bad.
Machos.
And a good patio.
And a good patio.
A good patio for it.
Yep.
All right.
For your rooftop.
Favorite sports
Not
team?
right now. Too cold.
Way too cold. Rapid fire, Kyle.
Here we go.
Favorite sports team growing up?
Dallas Cowboys.
Still though?
No.
That's right. Okay. What show are you bringing? What show are you binging on TV currently?
I just binge watched Emily in Paris.
Good.
Oh, it's so good. I was so sad it ended.
What service is that on for the listeners? Netflix. Okay. Favorite condiment or seasoning to put on your chicken and rice?
Ooh. Gosh, I don't even know. I do a lot of salt and pepper. I do
That is the most boring answer of all time, Michelle.
Gosh, come back to me. I don't know. We have a whole bunch of spices.
My last name is Wasserman, but most people call me Saucerman based on my condiment love.
Well, so
salt and pepper. Just gonna put people out of business with that.
I'll take a picture and send something later.
All good.
Salt.
Do you carry salt and pepper with you?
No, no.
Jeff, you got to understand, not everybody's like you. Not everybody's a condiment connoisseur.
I love season. I mean, if
diet people are though.
Hold on.
Seasoning's good.
What was the question again? It was best.
What's your favorite condiment or seasoning to put on?
This can go right with Chick-fil-A because Chick-fil-A sauce is magical.
Chick-fil-a sauce, or there's all kinds of sauces.
That's the highest calorie one of all time.
Well, that's why it's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I guess I was just thinking of seasoning. So yeah.
Yeah, any kind of seasoning or sauce, like whatever you like to put on your stuff.
I have so many like dressings and things in my fridge. I just can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, favorite gym in Kansas City that's not the ones you go to?
Oh, dang. They're all down here that I never get to visit outside of my bubble. So, do I really want to say? I don't know. I haven't been to any of them.
I want you to say.
That's the problem. Like, I think Freight House Fitness looks cute or cool. Not cute. What's the other place?
It's cute. It's
cute.
It's worthy of saying.
Your interior decorator.
Oh, yeah, that's her. Kendra. She used to own Freight House Fitness.
Yeah. I think places like that excite me.
The Tough Club is downtown.
Tough Club
really
looks
cool spot.
That looks cool.
There's a lot of really cute boutiques down here.
Those are the type of gyms that I would definitely,
aspire to go to at some point.
Yeah, yep.
Well, whenever you come down for those games,
that's right.
We got you.
That's right.
All right, one protein for the rest of your life. What protein powder would it be?
Probably, I'm like my boys. We just like the vanilla. Probably Formula One vanilla.
Formula One vanilla? Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say level 1 peppermint
Formula
bark.
One vanilla is the best vanilla, though.
It is. You can add whatever to it. I do love me some peppermint bark, though.
That one's really good. All right. So you're on the go. You're trying to be on your game. What's your best convenient snack that you like to have handy?
Oh, well, that's protein bars or the beef sticks, the jalapeno one that I just bought the other day.
Oh, the meat sticks we carry?
Yep. Yeah. And then I have the Formula One bars. I like the chocolate caramel.
Oh, the salted caramel level 1 bar? Uh-huh. Yeah, those meat sticks are just money, aren't they?
They're so good.
What about this? You're at a gas station. You can't buy it. You can't do a protein bar. What are you doing?
A Monster energy drink.
Oh, just get lit up on some caffeine.
The white
We're
can?
just going to skip.
Yes,
We're going to skip the calories and just get lit up on caffeine.
Yeah, usually, I just get so frustrated at convenience stores because there's just nothing. Like, I'm not going to buy boiled eggs from a convenience store. That just grosses me out. So I don't put myself in that situation, I guess.
Beef jerky is like the only option.
Or some peanuts maybe, or some almonds, but that's boring.
Yeah. I got one future kind of question for you, and then I got one last non-serious question. But first one, let's go with serious, and that is, Marshall Fit's been doing so well. You guys have been going around for a long, long time. What do you see yourselves in 5 years? Are you going to do your own space one time, or are you thinking in your head, you know what, I'm pretty psyched about subleasing from somewhere else?
I enjoy subleasing just because I'm going to be traveling a lot in the future, especially on the weekends. So I think if I had my own place, that would be very difficult. But I do foresee myself bringing on another trainer, and I want to bring on more so I can personal train a little bit more.
Right.
So I want to have someone that
get back to your roots, if you will.
Yeah, because it's just me, literally just me right now. So I need to bring someone on.
Well, if you're listening and you're aspiring to get a career going in fitness for the love of all that is holy, get a hold of Michelle Marshall. She'd be an amazing person to work with. On a much lighter note, we ask this to every single one of our guests because it is a Kansas City-based podcast, and that is something we take super serious here, near and dear to our hearts.
Very important question coming up.
Barbecue.
Oh.
You get to have one spot. That's it. Where are you going?
So you're probably going to be a little mad at me because I don't really like barbecue. but
no one's mad at you. It's okay.
But if I had to pick, Q39.
Yeah.
It's been the most consistent answer because people have good taste buds here and they understand.
Well, Q39's got other food items. They have that. My wife gets the salmon BLT. I don't know if you've ever had that.
I've never had that.
Sounds
really
fantastic.
Good. Smoked salmon BLT.
Sounds good.
She likes barbecue, but she's like, this is so good. I'll never get anything else here.
I've talked about so many things that are at Q39 on this podcast already, but do you know what you get when you go there?
No.
So do you actually eat barbecue there?
Yes.
There you go.
What's the thing that they bring out? It's kind of like an appetizer, but not really. It's oops.
You're right. You can snap.
What's it called?
What's it look like? How about that? A platter of some sort? Mm-hmm. Burn end platter?
It's burn ends.
Oh yeah.
The burn end appetizer.
Burn ends are good. I think isn't they bringing out just like a little beginner?
Little meat candies. Yeah, they're just fantastic.
Whatever. It's the burn-ins. They're good.
Something I read the other day that the owner of Q39 actually passed away recently.
Just passed away.
I read that too.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I felt bad because it seemed like it was like his for us, what fitness is to us, he was that, with barbecue.
Yeah.
It's his legacy.
Everyone was so, all his employees had nothing but good things to say about him.
Clearly passionate people.
Yeah.
Over there.
It made me sad because on this podcast, probably 90% of people who we've asked that question to, it's all been Q39.
Really?
So there's been a lot of people.
They always get a mention, even if you're not a fan, you have to tell them, like, well, most people love Q39. I'm like, that's because it really is the best. But
it is good.
There's so many great spots in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So many great spots. But we have a minute now. I want you to give you the floor. If there's people that want to get a hold of you or people that want to see more of you, how do they get a hold of you?
They can find me on social media, obviously, Michelle Marshall Fitness. It's M Marshall Fit on Instagram is where I'm at mostly. I'm also on Twitter. I can't remember my name on Twitter, but if you search for Michelle Marshall, you'll find me. Otherwise, just mmarshallfit.com is my website and all my pricing and class schedules.
Marshallfit.com?
Mm-hmm.
Marshallfit.com, y'all.
Yep.
If you guys got some enjoyment out of this podcast, if you found some value, we would really appreciate it if you shared it up. Let us know that you've been listening to it, and go ahead and tag Protein Bros Podcast whenever you share it up, and we'd love to reshare it for you. That's all I got for you. We look forward to another episode soon.
Thank you for coming on, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
Great talking to you.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
Appreciate all you guys. We'll talk soon.